Guess who's back? Back again. Mikey's back. Tell a friend. Hey everybody, here we have another video for you guys today. And today we're going to be doing episode 1 of NBA 2K23 on the Nintendo Switch. My retro 80s kind of inspired season where I'm playing as both the Pistons and the Bulls. And we're going to try to have some fun, with this game for everyone that likes it and has it on the Switch. But before we go any further, let me just say, if you like this video, any other videos on the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and the video and everything. But we'll be getting into episode 1 of this retro 80s playback on this Nintendo Switch version of NBA 2K23 after the intro coming in now.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
MJP!
I want
MJP!
I want my
MJP!
I want my
MJP!
Call your cable company and say I want my
MJP! And here we are with NBA Premier Week for 2K23 as we're playing back the 80s. And the first game up, we got the Bulls versus the Celtics. And if we're talking about reality, this would be the championship Celtics, but we're kind of starting at zero with everything. But having said that, the Celtics are a stacked team. And this is Jordan's first game in the league. And Larry Bird is teaching him a lesson early on. Let's see, more for Bird. And he was just in fuego in this game.
Celtics out in front, leading by 17. We'll take a quick break and then get you back to the action.
And the Bulls really stood no chance. The Celtics got out the early lead and would go on to win the game, going away 93-73. And in full disclosure, I lost the footage. It got messed up for this game, so I wasn't able to get everything like I'd want. This is the inaugural episode of this new 2K 80s playback series I'm doing on the Switch here, and so we got to work out some of the bugs. But Jordan had 31, Larry Bird had 31, but it was really down low Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale that really caused me the most grief. Bird got the most points, but I mean, they just dominated me on the inside. In other scores, the Los Angeles Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors. Bob McAdoo had a big game for them. And then the Sacramento Kings pull off the win over the Houston Rockets. It's a big win for the Kings. And Nate Archibald had a big game. And Memphis Grizzlies get blown out by the Dallas Mavericks. And of course, the Grizzlies did not exist in the 80s, so they have a dirt team. And the Mavericks have a pretty solid squad, and they blew them out. And then a couple of more teams that didn't exist back in the 80s, the Magic and the Charlotte Hornets. And Magic got the win. And then the Denver Nuggets pull off the huge blowout win over the Utah Jazz in John Stockton's first game of his NBA career. Big win by the Nuggets. And then the Milwaukee Bucks get beaten pretty handily by the Portland Trail Blazers. Sam Bowie got taken over Michael Jordan in the draft, and he had a big game in his inaugural rookie debut. And then the Knicks lose a close one to the Dallas Mavericks. You can see Rolando Blackman had a big game. Bernard King had a good game for the Knicks. And then the Jazz blow out the Miami Heat, another team that didn't really exist at this point in the 80s, but I had to fill out the league with something, and so there's the Heat. And then the Seattle Supersonics give a crushing blowout victory over another team that didn't exist back in the 80s, the Toronto Raptors. And so no surprise there, since the Raptors are a dirt team. And then the Houston Rockets lose to the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are off to a strong start in the season, and rookie Olajuwon didn't get a whole lot done here in this game. And then the next game, we got the Pistons versus the Clippers, and World B Free started out strong. You see Mikey J getting a big block here. What a rejection. He ain't having none of that. But at the end of the first quarter, you can see that it was a close game, highly contested. And World B Free was actually giving the Pistons some fits in this game. And the Clippers came to play and really were making it tough and holding down the home court advantage pretty strongly in this game. Starting the second quarter, Vinnie Johnson got himself a nice layup to the hoop. And then here, Mikey J comes up with a big slam in the second quarter. Huge move, huge play. And then here's some more second quarter highlights. And more great play from the Clippers, really giving the Pistons all they could handle. And they were up by 4 at halftime. Mikey J is having a big game, as is Bob McAdoo. And then starting the third quarter, Norm Nixon with a good drive to the hole. And there was not a whole lot that the Pistons could do early on. And at the end of the third quarter, we were tied up 60-60. Got a close one going here. And the assist of the game here goes to Norm Nixon. Great dime. But our player of the game goes to Mikey J. And he had a big first game of the season. Starting out the season strong, big moves, big jams, finding people in the corner for the three. He was just a bully down low. He was getting the points, getting the assists, getting the rebounds, doing whatever it takes to help the Pistons win this game. And they ended up winning it 86-76. It was a good game, a close game. It was closer in reality than the score showed, but it was a great first victory for the Pistons. Big victory. And World B Free, Bob McAdoo and the Clippers showed that they are, they're going to be a tough team out west for, the Western Conference teams to deal with. But they weren't enough, and the Pistons were just too much for them. And he sees another block by Mikey J. Isaiah Thomas had himself a solid game. And here's take a look at the box scores. See, World B Free had 28 points. Bob McAdoo 14 and 7 boards. But they didn't get enough help from the rest of the supporting cast to really get the job done, unfortunately, for the Clippers. See, not a whole lot going on here. And then for the Pistons, Mikey J had 35 huge points and 6 boards. Really good game. Isaiah Thomas had 21, 3, and 3. And Kelly Tripucka had a solid 13 points as well. So good play all around by the Pistons. DJ Deck had 9 points coming in off the bench. Vinnie Johnson had a solid 4 points off the bench. Let's look at more scores. And the Raptors get the win over the Kings. Big upset victory. And then the Cavaliers beat the Suns. Big win for the Cavaliers. And then the Mavericks blow out the Magic. And the Blazers beat the Nets handily. And the Lakers beat the Bull Squirts. We'll get more onto the Bull Squirts later. And the Blazers pull off a nice victory over the Celtics. And the Mavericks beat the Heat in a close one. And then the Bull Squirts beat the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta's starting the season out rough. And the Clippers bounce back and get a victory over the Nets. Bob McAdoo had 40 in this game and 15 rebounds. Heck of a game for Bob McAdoo. And the Philadelphia 76ers blow out the Indiana Pacers. Big game all around. And the Lakers handily beat the Orlando Magic. Michael Jordan was Player of the Week the first week, and Mikey J was the Player of the Week the second week. And then here, let's see what the Bulls can do, see if they can bounce back after that tough loss to the Celtics. And they got matchups in their favor pretty much across the board here against the Washington Wizards / Bullets. And Michael Jordan started this game like a man possessed. First basket of the game is a highlight reel dunk, and this is just indicative of what was to come in this particular game. Jordan was just out for revenge after losing that game to the Celtics, and like I said, he was just a man possessed in this one, and he ended up getting 18 points and finished the first period with 20 points, and the Bulls were up 26-9 at the end of the first quarter, just giving it to the Bullets early on in this game, just taking it to them. And here's the first quarter highlights, and there was just not a lot that the Bullets could do. They were getting, they were able to put together a couple of decent plays, but just not enough. Jordan was just on fire, just a whole different level of play than we've seen out of him in the first game against the Celtics. And Reggie Theus was also giving them fits. And Jordan starts out the third quarter with another big move. And Jordan was just taking over this game. There was just not much they could do, and we end going to halftime with the Bulls with the nice lead. Let's take a look at the halftime report. Jordan's got 32 at halftime and just dominating this game. He starts out the third quarter with a big drive, carrying it over from the first half. And then here, woo, look at that in-your-face dunk. Wow. What can you say about that? Jordan was just unstoppable in this game. And poor Jeff Malone, he could not guard him for nothing. And Jordan was just taking it to him and the Bullets the whole game. And they end the third period 65-49 with the Bulls ahead. And they're just running away with this one. And then early in the fourth quarter, Reggie Theus gets some big plays, gets some time to shine. Theus had himself a good game as well. It wasn't just all about Jordan, but Michael Jordan is the star of the show and ended up being the player of the game. And just look at these highlights he put together in this game. And he ended up scoring 60 points in this game. Massive game, second game of the season, man possessed. There was just no answer the Bullets had for him.
He's on fire!
More great highlights even after already getting player of the game. I mean, look at that dunk. And like I said, Jordan finished with 60 points. The Bullets themselves only scored 63, and the Bulls win 92-63 in blowout fashion. The poor Bullets had no chance after the Bulls lost that first tough game to the Celtics. Came out looking for revenge. And I mean, like I said, Jordan was just on fire. He was in fuego this whole game, a man possessed. And here he goes, 60 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, only 1 turnover for Jordan. Just absolutely insane game. Reggie Theus had a solid 19 points, 1 rebound, and 9 assists. Good game for Reggie Theus. And Brad Sellers was a solid 5 points and 10 boards. Bill Cartwright put in some nice effort. And that's pretty much it for the Bulls scoring. And then the Bullets, Jeff Malone, he did put in 20 points as well, but he was just completely outclassed by Michael Jordan in this one. And then we have the Charlotte Hornets pull off the big victory over the Golden State Warriors. That's a huge victory for the Hornets. And then the Bull Squirts lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks get a nice victory, and the Seattle Supersonics blow out the Memphis Grizzlies, which again, the Grizzlies shouldn't even exist at this time, and the Denver Nuggets pull off a close victory against the Sacramento Kings. Nate Archibald had a huge game for the Kings, but it wasn't enough. And then the Celtics get a close-fought victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. Another good game for Larry Bird. Marquise Johnson had a good game for the Bucks. Close one. And then the San Antonio Spurs blow out the Minnesota Timberwolves. George Gervin had himself a good game for the Spurs. And then our final game for today, we have the Pistons versus the Cavs. And on paper, this should be a decently close matchup. Isaiah Thomas starts out the game strong, taking it to the rack, and really wanted to assert his dominance. And Mikey J with the big block. Check this out. No soup for you. Not having none of it. And Kelly Tribuca had himself a nice game, and here's a good first drive. And Mikey J is just making big moves in this game. And at the end of the first period, Pistons are up 25-11 over the Cavaliers. Really showing the home court dominance in this one. And here's the first quarter highlights. And here's Mikey J with the big dunk. And Isaiah Thomas taking it to the rack with authority. World Be Free for Cleveland was putting together a solid game, though. And Cleveland had some good plays, but just wasn't enough. Start the second quarter. DJ Deck comes off the bench for the Pistons, putting together a good drive. But really, it's more of Mikey J. Another big dunk for him. But having said that, the Cavaliers make themselves a run in the second quarter, 13-5 run, and cut it to within 8. But Mikey J is putting the hammer down, not having any comeback for the Cavaliers. More just big plays and big dunks out of him. And at halftime, it's 52-27. Detroit is taking care of business. And here's the second quarter highlights. Mikey J at the big dunk. But Campy Russell and others for the Cleveland was trying their best. Nice move there by Kelly Tripuccia. And Mikey J's got 18 at the half. And Campy Russell leading Cleveland with 8. And really the story has to be the field goal percentage and the rebounds here. But the Pistons are just beating them across the board when you look at all these numbers. I mean, what can they do? Can Cleveland even make it close at this point? And then start the third period. Look at that move by Mikey J. Big dunk. Just taking it to the rack strong. Right over Larry Nance. What do you got, Larry? Not much. And another big drive there by Mikey J. And then Larry Nance gets his revenge against poor little Isaiah Thomas and says, "Nope, get it out of here." So Larry Nance was trying his best to keep Cleveland in the game. At the end of the third quarter, it is 70-52. Detroit is still heading strong towards the finish line. But Larry Nance and Cleveland was doing their best. Finney Johnson starts out the fourth quarter with a nice drive. Kelly Tripucca also had a nice play here, two-handed slam. But the player of the game was Mikey J. And he just was dunking on all of Cleveland, making big plays, finding the open man, just being the leader that we know the Pistons are used to him being, and they know he can be. He is reliable for them, and of course, he is the player of the game. And Detroit ends up winning it 92-72. Cleveland still fought strong, even being down 20, though. They put together a solid effort. It just was not enough against this team. I mean, Mikey J was just taking it to him. And here's some more. Look at some more of the highlights. Isaiah had a strong game. No soup for you, says Mikey J. And then Mikey J had 34 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, and only 1 turnover. Kelly Tripucka had a big game, 26 points, 5 and 5. Isaiah Thomas was solid with 16. Bill Laimbeer had a big game, 8 and 12. And the rest of the Pistons chipped in and did what was needed to be done for them to pull off the victory here against Cleveland. Campy Russell had 19 points total. Larry Nance had 14. And then the Utah Jazz beat the Charlotte Hornets 101-92. Darrell Griffith had himself a nice game in the victory for Utah. And John Stockton was solid as well. And Cleveland bounced back after their loss to Detroit and beat the Sacramento Kings 102-96. Otis Birdsong had 40 points for Sacramento, but it wasn't enough. Campy Russell had himself a strong game, as did Austin Carr. And the Rockets get a 2-point victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Dominique was strong for Atlanta, but it just wasn't enough. His 31 still came up short against Hakeem Olajuwon and this oncoming Rockets team. Rookie Olajuwon had 31, 16 boards. Ralph Sampson also had a strong game for them. And the Miami Heat pull off the upset victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Atlanta Hawks finally get themselves a win, and they beat the Indiana Pacers. Dominique Wilkins chipped in 39 points and 11 boards. Huge game for Neek. And the Phoenix Suns blow out the Bulls Squirts. Should be expected for the Phoenix Suns, one of the better teams out west. And let's take a look at the standings. Pistons start the season 2-0, while the Bulls are 1-1 in the Central Division, and the Pacers are down in the cellar. And then let's take a look at the Southeast Division. This division really should be the Atlanta Hawks one to win, and can they make it happen? They haven't started the season out as good as they had hoped. And then the Atlantic Division, the toughest division in the Eastern Conference, you got the 76ers and the Celtics there. The Knicks are actually in the basement, and most would say they're probably the third best team in this division, but the 76ers and Celtics are two tough teams to deal with. And then in the Pacific Division, you got the Lakers, and this is really their division to lose. They should really run away with this one, but they started the season 3-1. And the Northwest Division is turning out to be a real barn burner. You got the Sonics, Trailblazers, Denver Nuggets, and Jazz. 4 really, really good teams are in this division, so it'll be interesting to see who ends up taking it as the season progresses. And the Sonics are out to the early lead. And they got the Southwest Division, and this should really be the Mavericks or the Rockets division to win. And then let's take a look at the power rankings. And right now, the Pistons got the NBA.com power rankings lead, which is a little surprising. Starting out the season as the number 1 team in the power rankings. And then the Bulls are down there in 13th, starting the season 1-1. And the New Jersey Nets and Indiana Pacers are down towards the bottom of the barrel. See how these power rankings change as the season goes along. Interesting to keep an eye on all this stuff. And then as far as the league leaders, Jordan is leading the league in scoring with 45.5 points per game. After 2 games, just that 60-point game was just huge for him. And Mikey J is number 2 right now, averaging 35 a game. So he's starting the season strong as well. Can he catch Jordan, though, for that scoring championship? I don't know. Dominique Wilkins is averaging 33.3 points per game. Nate Tiny Archibald is averaging 30. Rolando Blackman, Otis Birdsong, putting together solid scoring season so far as well. You got Bernard King, Dr. J, averaging 27. David Thompson averaging 27, and Del Curry, who shouldn't even be in the league yet, is averaging 26.3 for the Hornets. And as far as rebounds go, Moses Malone cleaning up the glass, Spencer Haywood, rookie Charles Barkley putting in some nice work, Buck Williams, Maurice Lucas, Bill Lambier for the Pistons is 6 right now, rebounding. Artis Gilmore for the Bull Squirts, and Bob McAdoo. And then as far as assists go, you got Magic Johnson take out to the early assist lead over the rest of these players. And then the steals. Here's a little look at the steals category real quick for everybody. We'll keep looking at these stats as the seasons go along. And blocks early in the lead. Early this season, Mikey J's leading the league in blocks at 3 per game. Can he keep that up? I don't know. 3's a lot, but we'll see what happens as the season progresses. And now let's take a look at the rookie leaders. Michael Jordan, of course, is the rookie to beat, but Sam Bowie and Hakeem Olajuwon, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Alvin Robertson. So there's some good rookies out there, but really this is Jordan's award to lose at this point, averaging 45 a game. But Barkley putting in the 14 boards, and he's also leading the rookies. Well, Stockton's leading the rookies in assists at 10. So I mean, there's some good players here. But Jordan just should just take away just give him the Rookie of the Year trophy now, I would guess. And let's take a look at the team stats, player stats. Mikey J's averaging 35 for the Pistons. And can he keep this up as the season goes along? This is a pretty high scoring output so far for him. Kelly Tripucka is number 2 at 19.5. Isaiah Thomas is averaging 16.5. DJ Deck off the bench is averaging 5.5. Vinny Johnson is averaging 5 points a game off the bench. Bill Lambier is only averaging 4, but he is averaging 12.5 rebounds for the Pistons. So he's getting work done on the defensive end, leading the team in rebounds at 12.5. And Mikey J's averaging 7.5. And the assists per game, Kelly Tripucka is actually leading the team right now at 3.5 assists per game. And Bill Lambier is actually number 2 at 3 assists per game. Solid output for him. And Mikey J's getting 2 steals and 3 blocks. And for the Bulls, Michael Jordan's averaging 45.5 points per game, as we've established so far here, after his 31-point outing against Celtics, and then 60 points against Washington. Huge numbers. And Reggie Theus is averaging 18, George Gervin 5.5, and the rest of the team following suit down there. Craig Hodges starts the season out struggling, unable to get a basket through 2 games. But solid play out of who you'd expect to be playing strong for the Bulls. And rebounds per game, Brad Sellers has been have to be the starter for this Bulls team at the power forward position, and he's averaging 7.5 boards per game, leading them. And then assists, Reggie Theus is getting 7.5 assists a game. Really solid point guard play out of Reggie Theus. And Jordan's leading in steals, and Brad Sellers leading in blocks. And here's a preview of the next game, the Pistons against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves are an expansion team, shouldn't really exist at this point. And so this should be the Pistons in a big victory if everything holds true. Thanks for watching.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, we got merch store. If you want to take a little piece of the show with you, you can get it right here. We got everything. You want some Mikey J stuff? We got the Mikey J Productions for you. So take a chance and stop by. We'll take care of you.